It's raining today again, but I got a little lucky actually, just going around all over the place, and there was actually some dry spot at times. There is an election here today too. And with that in mind, what did I read today? How about this one? Apparently, DJI is going to sue the US Department of Defense. What's going on, huh? It has to do apparently with them being labeled, I suppose, as a military company of sort. So as you can see here in the official document, it says in the United States District Court for the District of Columbia, DJI Technology Co. is the plaintiff versus the US Department of Defense. And then they talk about specific people, for example, Lloyd Austin in his official capacity as Secretary of the United States Department of Defense from the Pentagon. And then it says Laura D. Taylor Cale in her official capacity as Assistant Secretary of Defense for the Industrial Base Policy. They write here, DJI is the largest privately owned seller of consumer and commercial drones, which are used by police departments, fire departments, and other first responders, large and small companies, and hobbyists throughout the United States and the world. This lawsuit challenges DoD's decision to designate DJI as a, quote, Chinese military company, despite the fact that DJI is neither owned nor controlled by the Chinese military and, as DoD acknowledges, sells only consumer and commercial, not military drones. DJI, through outside counsel, sought to engage with DoD over more than a 16-month period to understand the rationale for DJI's designation, obtain the administrative record, and provide DoD with facts demonstrating that DJI is not a CMC under the statutory criteria. On July 27, 2023, DJI filed a comprehensive delisting petition establishing that DoD was required to remove DJI from the CMC list pursuant to its statutory duty to, quote, make deletions from the list on an ongoing basis based on the latest information available. Despite those efforts, DoD refused to meaningfully engage, declining to provide its rationale for DJI's designation and ignoring DJI's request for a meeting. Then, without notice on January 31st, 2024, DoD redesignated DJI. On September 6, 2024, DJI has determined that it had no other reasonable option available, informed DOT that it planned to seek judicial relief. Only then did DoD produce a, quote, courtesy copy of an internal report that described as containing full rationale for DJI's designation. And so with that, they reviewed it and claimed it's invalid, and there's so many errors apparently, like saying here, among numerous deficiencies, the report applies the wrong legal standard, confuses individuals with common Chinese names, and relies on stale alleged facts and attenuated connections that fall far short of demonstrating that DJI is a CMC. The report reveals that DJI was designated through a deeply flawed designation process. So with that, they're saying listing them as a military company of sorts caused them great financial and reputational harm. And it says as well, their employees have been stigmatized and harassed. So who knows what's going to go on here, but that's kind of interesting, huh? Where the company's actually taking action in this regard. It makes me wonder if this is actually related to that story where the US Customs were stopping DJI drones from being imported. But it makes you wonder, do they have a case? What's the other technicality that it could be? Because here, like the DJI, they claim there's absolutely no relations with military investors or anything like that. So what kind of technicality would there be? Because I know in China, for example, every company has to abide by, I suppose you could say, the Chinese government. Are they going to use that in terms of a technicality, saying, well, you're technically part of this guy and so forth, so I could say you're part of the military? Is it going to be like one of these legal mumble jumbles where lawyers get really technical? But either way, really interesting. Let's see what happens here, I suppose. And with a thought of, I guess, military drones, how about this one? Again, it's another follow of that story where apparently North Korea was accusing South Korea of flying a drone and all that into their territory, and now apparently there might be like a war and stuff because of that. This one here says, North Korea threatens Seoul after alleged discovery of downed drone. And this is apparently the picture of the, quote, I guess, drone that was found. It says North Korea has accused Seoul of a serious provocation following the alleged discovery of a downed South Korean drone that it claims violated North Korea's sovereignty by scattering anti-North Korean leaflets over Pyongyang, reported German news agency. A renewed military violation of North Korean territory would be viewed as a declaration of war and would lead to an immediate retaliatory attack, state-controlled news agency KCNA reported on Saturday, citing a spokesman for the North Korean Ministry of National Defense. Last week, North Korea claimed that Seoul had sent unmanned drones carrying anti-North Korean leaflets to Pyongyang 3 times in the space of a week. South Korean Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun said he could not confirm whether the North's claims were true. And if that wasn't enough, the news just goes on today in terms of drones being used in war. You heard of that one yesterday, where a Hamas leader was apparently hunted down partially due to the drone following him and so forth. And how about this one? This one says, drone strike launched towards Benjamin Netanyahu's home. Israel says no injuries reported. A drone was launched toward Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's home on Saturday, the Israeli government said. Sirens wailed Saturday morning, warning of incoming fire from Lebanon. The drone was launched towards Netanyahu's home in Caesarea, but neither he nor his wife were home, his spokesperson said in a statement. And there were these pictures and videos going around online. Was that actually the drone I was thinking? In terms of the video, you can see there was a helicopter and the drone was basically flying past it. I'm not sure that helicopter was military or was it just something else, like a civilian helicopter or something like that. But that's kind of crazy, isn't it? If that was the actual, I guess, kamikaze drone. But yeah, what's going on in the world today, huh? Non-stop fighting. I guess with that craziness, I gotta go do the voting today and at the same time go visit some places that are opening up apparently.
The winner needs 47 seats for a majority government. Now very close here with a range of 35 to 52.
As you can see, not very many votes counted in Surrey Cloverdale. Apparently there's an issue with the elections BC officials' password, so they can't access. That's what happens when you go all digital, right?
An election that might be determined by 1 or 2.
With some mail-in ballots yet to be counted and possible recounts expected in the closest races, it could be days before we know who will become BC's next premier.
All right, see you guys later.